Oh shit. So before this game comes out tomorrow, and I'm really excited about this game if you haven't noticed, I want to talk about the fact that it's challenging Overwatch 2. And what does that mean for Overwatch 2 and what does that mean for Rivals? So let's address the elephant in the room. Is it going to be able to kill Overwatch 2? Not really, kind of, maybe. We'll see. That's the best answer I can probably give. Because the truth is, they're not exactly the same game. And as much as they have very, very similarities, and it's obviously inspired, in quotation marks, by Overwatch 2, it's a 6v6 hero shooter with payload and capture the point. Does the original Overwatch in 2016 not have those features? The truth is, whether or not it was trying to directly compete with Overwatch, which it probably was, it will compete with them. And I think there are a lot of players that are going to switch over to Marvel Rivals, and I'll be honest, for a good reason. And these are my 3 reasons that I'm thinking about. Number 1, the characters. I don't think I've been a big fan of the characters that have been introduced in Overwatch 2, except maybe Sojourn, because you got like a cool cinematic, and Sojourn just was kind of fun. But that was about it. Kiriko was not great for the community. Malga was probably the worst thing they could have added to the game, and then they decided to keep him buffed for so long, and he's still pretty much not fun to play against. But I think the fact that Overwatch 2 adds characters that people just don't like and know there's a gigantic power creep, I think it's super sloppy that they have these random new characters when you have a forced meta of 2-2-1. Another thing, I played Overwatch when it first came out, and I stopped playing it before the 2-2-2 thing came out, and then I came back to the 2-2-2 thing. God, was that stupid. I really did not like the fact that my queue time was insanely long just to play a ranked game. I remember waiting 7 minutes for my DPS game because I'm Diamond, and they were like, yeah, this game was only 3 minutes long. I've waited so much longer to play games than to actually be in the match itself. However, in Rivals, I think they're doing the smart thing and not putting a meta right now, and I hope they never do, because the truth is these team-ups are the best thing they can do. They can encourage players to play with a specific role, like Iron Fist and Luna Snow, or Hulk and Wolverine. Like, they encourage a tank and support, or they encourage a tank and a DPS together. So at least there's like some balance that is encouraged by the devs to support you for playing a specific role with another role. And I think that's huge. I think that's arguably so much a better way than just forcing you gotta play healer, because if you don't have enough healing, then you lose. I don't like the fact they do that. Yes, I know the fact that if you don't have enough healing, my team is probably gonna lose because they're playing super squishy characters and they get one shot. And my tank has no healing. Like, I know, I get it. It doesn't take, it's not rocket science to figure out without healers your comp starts to die. But at the same time, I feel like that's a mistake you're just gonna have to figure out. And yes, it's gonna be a little bit infuriating when no one wants to play healer. But at the same time, if everyone's having more fun because they get to play the character they want, just let them. People who want to try hard and win are gonna try hard and win. They're gonna stack with their friends and win. But for people who just wanna sit down, play a game of Iron Man or Iron Fist, they just wanna play a fucking game after coming back from work, like, just let them, bro. It's not a big deal to have 2-2-2. I know that Overwatch had to solve this as the open queue thing, but you just made another fucking thing for people to queue, and it just divides the community even more than it originally did. Like, another thing is that the characters in this game are just way more iconic. I mean, it's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Panther. I mean, that's just to name a few. There are even more. And I think the thing that's so cool is that they actually add niche characters, like, before, believe it or not, Moon Knight was really, really niche before it came out. But then they even added Iron Fist, and I don't think Iron Fist is even close to being mainstream. Yes, he had a show. Yes, the show sucked. But no one thinks Iron Fist is mainstream. Trust me, you can ask them. Iron Fist is not mainstream. He's still pretty niche. But the fact that they put not even the Danny Rand version, but the Lin Lei version of Iron Fist, it's fucking crazy. I think that's awesome. Jet the Land Shark, again, I'm not gonna stop mentioning how awesome that is. Just really cool creative choices for the characters that they're choosing. And as well as all the characters having kits that are tailored to how they look like and how they play in the game, because that's how they are in the comics. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Like, Spider-Man swings on his web, Venom has his tentacles, Magneto throws shards of metal at people, Iron Man has his unibeam, Cloak and Dagger is literally just Cloak and Dagger as one character, which is 100% fair because, dude, they're Cloak and Dagger, they're never called Cloak and they never call it dagger, they're cloak and dagger. I just think that's just so smart. I just think these characters are so unique in the way they're playing. And I think they're not afraid to overload specific kits of characters because they want the character kits to be fun. I think in Overwatch, they're just too nervous to give characters so much busted stuff. Like, remember how they nerfed Genji from doing like a double run on the wall? You know Spider-Man can just stick to walls because he's Spider-Man and there's no timer on it? You know why there's no timer on it? It's because he's literally Spider-Man. Like, imagine they put a timer on how long can Spider-Man can stick to a wall. That would fucking suck. That's not Spider-Man. That's like temporarily Spider-Man. I think the number 2 reason would probably be just Overwatch 2 is not in a good state right now. Again, after all these changes that happened recently, and also after PvE, they're just charging an arm and leg for cosmetics. The game is just kind of in a state where, well, you like Overwatch because it's Overwatch, not because it's a great game. I feel like that's how I was for me. Like, I like the thought that Overwatch is a hero shooter and it's fun to play with your friends because I think the concept of the hero shooter genre is still good. Healing, DPS, tank, I think that's still a great concept and it's honestly my favorite type of game. The problem is that Overwatch was on top. And there was no one to challenge Overwatch, and there's no one giving Overwatch a run for the money until now. And I think that that's what Rivals is doing, and I think that's huge because not only are they not doing paywall characters with, like, you know, not busted characters, not only are they not doing the paywall shit, they also have interesting map designs. I've been seeing some of them moving. Some of the walls have been fucking moving on some of the maps. I see it. Destructible cover as well, and the fact that these maps are just places we know in the MCU is just kind of tugs at your heartstrings, to be honest. All the comic book nerds like me are just freaking out over this game because of how accurate it is to some of the comic stuff. It also just seems like they care. I mean, you can read a lot about their dev blogs and stuff. You can tell that this isn't a soulless cash grab. Like, they did put effort into this game. It's hard to say. When Overwatch 2 first came out, they made like 4 maps or something, and then they just called it a day and added like 3 more characters. And they had like fucking 5 years to make Overwatch 2, by the way. They added like 3 characters and they added like 5 maps or something like that. And then that's what they called Overwatch 2, and they took away a role. They called it that. I don't know how long this game has been in development. There was more heroes than Overwatch came out with, and enough maps are iconic and cool, and it's just interesting maps that we remember. Like, there's a symbiote map and a Hydra-based map. I'm not gonna fucking not like that. And then this kind of leads into number 3, which is just, it's a breath of fresh air. There's been no games recently to challenge the throne of any of the hero shooter genres. Like, Spectre Divide came out and completely flopped. And I honestly kind of expected it after a while, because I was starting to think, this game's a little bit hardcore, isn't it? And I realized that not everyone's a competitive FPS god like Shroud, so they kind of don't think that's that fun to play Spectre Divide. Spectre Divide also just took a lot out of you mentally to like play the game. It was very competitive, and I realized it's just Valorant with a new shooting style, which is better. But the problem is most people who play Valorant are probably still playing Valorant. This game is still different enough to Overwatch. There are just so many different things in this game compared to Overwatch. They're not afraid to overload their kits on these characters. And the thing is, we know these characters, so why not just try it and see how it works? And if we end up liking it, because it's also in a third-person perspective, it's still different to Overwatch. The fact that Overwatch has been around for so long, there was no direct competition to it. Like, Fortnite had to fight Apex, CS had Valorant, and I think we finally found Overwatch's direct competitor. I really think that this is going to stick around for at least a while. Because once you play this game, I'm telling you, the amount of care that goes in this game is unparalleled to most games I've played recently. Like, the art style is just beautiful, and I know a lot of people are mixed on that, but I do love the art style. This guy just really loves comics. It's a very nice comic booky art style, and it's made in Unreal Engine 5, and the animations are great, and the voice acting is awesome, the sound effects, just the feel of the game. It's just good. And it's hard to say that about a lot of games recently. I remember playing Supervive, which is this new over-the-top League of Legends Battle Royale, and just being a little bit disappointed in the UI and stuff like that. It just didn't really feel that great. Yeah, it was fun, but I didn't really have a reason for me to go back. There was nothing interestingly special other than that it was kind of like League, but a Battle Royale. This game is more redefining the hero shooter genre, because Overwatch has kind of let it flop. And whether or not this lasts a while, I hope it does again. I do think that the fact that a lot of creators are leaving the current games to play this game is a very good sign that people do like this game. And I hope the cosmetics aren't expensive because they do have a ton that I'm really excited about. But overall, I do think it's a competitor, and I really do hope that the best for this game, because what's so bad about having competition for Overwatch? Because that just forces Overwatch to be a better game as well. Or just do the same thing they've been doing for years. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It wasn't a really long one. I just wanted to put something out there before this game came out. I'll be streaming it tomorrow on this. I'll be streaming it tomorrow here. I'll probably be releasing this video right before it comes out because the sad part is I have class during the time the game comes out, so I'll be like an hour late to the game. I am so excited to play this game, and I'll be playing it all night long. Yeah, hope to see you guys tomorrow, and peace.